Hey there, Big Sky Crew. This is Matt Larson, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm an instructor in the Mountain Sports School. I also have this side hustle. I'm a critical care nurse at the hospital in Bozeman, and I put a little video together and share some info with everyone about what I'm seeing with COVID, just to keep everybody informed. The more I think about this, the more I have that I could share, but we're gonna just hit on some big points for us and what we're doing day to day. What am I seeing in the community and at work when I'm at the hospital with COVID-19? The surge is definitely here. It's a real thing. We're seeing cases rise. We're also seeing that regionally our resources are getting maxed out, and I see that because when I'm at the hospital, we'll get some phone calls and requests from, say, a hospital in North Dakota. Can we transfer a patient to you? It's a sign that, say, North Dakota is full. The next questions are like, well, who's getting sick? Is it people that are already really sick, or is it guys or girls? Is it young people? Is it old people? And it's everybody. And the sad reality is that we can't allow visitors for those who are sick with COVID-19. And that means if we have a COVID patient who's really sick and ends up having a multi-week course at the hospital for treatment and then doesn't survive it, that they haven't seen their family in person for a long time. And it's a sad story. So the other questions that are coming to me are like, if you've had it already, can you spread the virus? And I'll tell you, I have been positive for COVID-19, and I'll use myself as an example. So here I am. This is COVID-19 on my face. And, I just happened to be walking, say, through the mountain sports school, and someone breathed on me a little bit, and here I am. And so now what happens? Maybe I just walk outside and meet my guests, and maybe I just sigh real big, and sure enough, there's some COVID-19 on them too. And it gets around. So the thought that you wouldn't be able to spread it if you've already had it is on this notion that as soon as something touches you, boom, it's eradicated and dead. And the reality is that the virus would have to get to where your antibodies are, if you have antibodies, for your antibodies to work to kill off the virus. And that takes time, and the virus can just get on you or in your nostrils a little bit, and then you just breathe and pass it right on to somebody else. Yeah, so hopefully that sticks with you. It's also really tasty. Powdered sugar. So the last question that's come at me are like, what are my worries for the season? I think the big pieces that should be your takeaways are that there's a lot of information floating around in the media, and a lot of that's not reviewed, like peer reviewed, or is it vetted? And so don't trust it. Be skeptical of what you might hear out there. Be safe, make good decisions to protect yourself and others, and be mindful of complacency. We're all going to fall into it, and we got to help each other be mindful. Masks, they're essential to protect yourself as well as the people around you, and this is hopefully a clear example of that. I can say that in the lift lines, I've already been caught like 10 times because my mask had like fallen down off my nose, and sure enough, I breathe through my nose too. And so there's some real consequence for either yourself contracting the virus or your guests bringing it home to their families. And to reflect more on my positive test, what I ran into was learning that I was positive for COVID, coming home, sharing that with my family, and a quick whirlwind of information from the county and employee health at the hospital about contact tracing and how our life would change dramatically for the next potential 24 days. I have to finish my infectious period, which was 10 days total. And then from that point, the rest of the family needs to stay home from school and do virtual learning or cannot go to work to complete 14 additional days in quarantine. That means 24 days of being at home with your family, and that's a big impact. It's a life disruptor for people, and it's we need to be understanding of that our behaviors in wearing masks, distancing, and washing our hands is critical for us to keep it to ourselves and not make this worse. Our management at Big Sky working really hard all fall to put together some protocols that are going to keep us safe, and that's going to be a moving target. We're going to work out the kinks as we go through the season. I feel good about that, and I feel like we've been given the tools to have a successful season, and we'll just see where things go. So yeah, I hope that's helpful for everyone. If you see me around, say hi. I look like this when I have a mask on. And if you can imagine some goggles too, so you probably won't recognize me at all. But yeah, wave if you think it's me. Make a new friend. And if anyone has more questions, I'm happy to share. So you'll see me around Mountain Sports. Have a great year, everybody.